Welcome to Narrowboat the James Bill. Hope you're well, thanks for joining me. Well, it's the half-term holidays, or as the kids call it, it's Halloween holidays. And I've taken a few days off work, which is nice, spend time with the twins and all the kids really. It's Ivy's birthday as well, so that'd be good. But it gives me a chance to crack on with some of the jobs on the boat. There's obviously still loads to crack on with. One of the ones I want to do is put the trim along the bottom here to kind of masks that edge and make it all uniform all the way around, but also it will help distinguish between the upper and the lower walls a bit more, create a bit more of a definition, which would be nice. I've got this stuff here, which is that 4mm pine, which is the same as I did the inserts for that with. So I'm going to sand it down, wax it up, and then basically just glue it and then tack it to that, which would be fine. I've got a few clamps to put it on with, but I'm using that wood glue, which takes like a day to dry, so I don't have enough clamps to do all of it, so I'm going to have to do it in kind of sections, which is fine. Plenty of other bits and pieces to crack on inside the boat. I've got to sort out some bits in the galley, but yeah, and then we've got to do pumpkin carving and stuff. Arthur needs me to fix his axe, so yeah, loads to do. But I'm hoping, I've got the twins on board tonight and tomorrow and the next day, so I'm hoping that the boat will fare well. You were closing it?
Yeah.
And it's broken?
Yeah.
But it just broke on its own?
Yes.
So you did nothing to do with it,
Yeah.
but at the time it broke, you were holding it?
Yes.
Oh dear. Right, okay.
And the button.
Where's the button?
Here.
Well done. Much like I've done on the hatches, I've chosen some nice grain on the facing sides, which is what I've got to do on this bit here. The other thing I've got to do on here, there's no way around it, is there's going to be a seam. So it's either have the seam there or have that long bit there and have the seam there, which is a little bit more visible as you walk in. And the problem with these things is that when you put the wax on it, it kind of enhances the seam a bit, so I'll have to do what I can with that. But I'm going to do this side today because I've only got 2 bits, and annoyingly the offcut of this I've got from the old bathroom window is also too damn short, so that's no good to anyone. Right, let's crack on. Right, this is the first one I'm going to do on the starboard side as you walk in. That little bit there annoys me, the seam there, so that will help pull it in a bit, I'm hoping. Then I can fill those little bits in, put another coat of paint on it all. Happy days. You should be able to make this out. This piece here, this long length here, rather annoyingly, has been put together, it's basically engineered. So it's got all these seams along it, which is going to stand out like a sore thumb when I put it on that length there, because there's quite a few of them. So I'm going to hack that bit up and make a frame for the window, the kitchen window. That'd be the way to go there, because I haven't done that, and I don't think I'm going to put a blind on it. So I might actually take that thing down. I don't know why, I just don't seem to think I'm going to put a blind on that one. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to adorn the window. That'll be the plan. I've decided to put the long continuous piece here, so the seam isn't there, the seam is over there. So, because it's a bit busy around there, so it's kind of not as obvious, whereas here you're kind of staring at this area quite a bit. I really like the line it provides with the hatch, that looks cool. So I'm not going all the way back, I'm just going basically to the edge of the cushion. If I ever redo this, then I can just put another bit there anyway, so that's fine. I'm now gonna put one last coat of wax on it, buff it up, stick it on, tack it in, call it a day. Well, just as well I'm doing this one piece at a time, because I'm using all of my clamps to pull this down. So it's glued in place. I'm now gonna, well, I might tack it. I might see if I can get away with it though, because it leaves these little marks where you tack it, like there on that. So I might leave it and see if the glue works on its own. It should do. It's just gonna take a while. Whoa, that does look a bit scary, you two. So Florrie, what are you going as?
It was going to be a zombie cheerleader, but I don't have zombies. But...
Zombie cheerleaders. You got blood all over you.
Yeah, but it's not really zombie anymore.
And who's this?
At first zombie, but no, Grim Reaper's way better.
Whoa.
Want to see my identity?
Oh, it's you. It's Arthur. Oh, thank goodness. It's only Arthur. Right.
Let me get my axe.
Let's get the axe. Still got a bit of blood on the walls, Florrie.
Sorry.
Cool. Right. Let's go. Get your axe.
My blood just spreads, okay?
I'm going to have to do this just like this for a moment, but this...
Hey, that's all right. Don't spin around too much, otherwise it'll flick off everywhere.
Yeah, it is cool.
I need to tidy up this bit round here, so I'm going to put the trim on it. I bought some more odgy to go on the outside. This is definitely going to have to move though now, but I don't know if I'm going to get a blind out yet, but I'll get rid of that for the time being, frame up the window and get that all looking okay. But yeah, I need to kind of cut away some of this stuff, make it all nice and kind of level and smooth, clean out that bit, and in there, yeah, loads. Right, I'll crack on with that now. Right, I've tarted it up a bit. I've basically trimmed out some of that stuff so I can get the them in the side, and that one there, and on that one there. So, but I was thinking I might put in a sill at the bottom like I did in the bathroom, but the problem is if I had to do that because I didn't have the trim underneath it. But here, if I do that, because the trim overlaps, then basically I'm not going to be able to get that mitre there, which is a shame because I could do with a little broader shelf, although it's a little bit broader than it is. That's the narrowest it's been. And I put things like, I don't know, like that there, so they'll be all right. There's enough of a ledge. My sharpener usually lives there as well, so yeah, that'll be fine. So I think I'll just use one of those bits and then put the trim around it. But yeah, that's all right. Right, I've put the first bit of trim in all the way around. Makes it look better from the outside, certainly. Not that anyone looks like under there anyway, but there we go. Right, now I've got to trim it down, and then what have I got to do? Wax it, glue it in, and then I've got to go and see Ivy for her birthday. Right, I'll let that dry. Right, I've trimmed it down, put a coat of wax on it. This is the kind of slightly thinner odgy I've got. So that's going to cover up that seam there. Again, I'm going to put it on upside down because I want the nice edge there, and for it to kind of mould into the walls a bit more, much like I've done on there. So it kind of sticks out a bit, which is nice. Right, it is trim time on the port side, and this is the bit I'm going to use. Basically, I've got a couple of options, as you do with everything. I can either start it there, so it's kind of flush against that. It's a bit hard to hold at the moment because I've only got one hand, but I could either have it like that, or I could benefit from the gap that I badly cut in that oak when I did that. And I can actually slide it all the way in, which kind of looks pretty cool. And then that one there takes it all the way up to the hatch. I've also elected for this piece here because you can see it's got quite tight grain on it, which for pine is fairly unusual. So it's going to make it, when I put the wax on it, it's going to make it look a little bit more oaky than anything else. So yeah, I reckon that's how it will go on the first one. So I've got to sand it down. all I really want to do is just take off this sharp edge there so that it kind of moulds against the wall nicer. Well, I'm chuffed with this first piece that's gone in. The colour matches really nicely with the oak fireplace. I think it's going to kind of bring it in and blend it really nicely. I've just glued and tacked it in a couple of places, but it takes ages for this glue to dry, so I'm going to leave the clamps in place. It's a nice afternoon by all accounts. I think I'm going to go to Watford, see a special someone, and her back doors need repairing. Yeah, that's worked really well. So now I've just put in place the second one, which goes basically well into the bedroom, kind of halfway up the curtain, and I've seen another one go from there to the front there. But yeah, that works nicely. The only thing I'm thinking is whether I should taper that in. I mean, it looks all right from the top, but I could get that tighter, make that slightly nicer, but it looks pretty good. It's kind of quite fortuitous, so that was already the right size for that. So I didn't really fancy trimming loads of that down. So yeah, happy days. Right, let's sand and wax that one now. Right, so second one is in place. I've tacked it and glued it. Now I've got to work on the next bit, which is going to be tricky because the wall kind of slopes up. So I think I'm going to be able to bring it to about there and then have another piece going on the slopey bit and then round the top. One bit just won't work. It's going to have to be compromised too much. So I'll just do it bit by bit and see how I get on, really. Right, so now it's coming all the way up here to the kind of turning point near the bow. So now I've got to do that bit up to there. But from here, where I sleep, okay, it's got the clamps on it still, so it doesn't look brilliant, but I used to see like this wobbly wall all the way down, and now I don't. That's great. And it lines up with the fireplace. Great. That's a real treat, that is. Right, good covering of wood glue. I've got my clamps at the ready. Got some tissue. Yeah, that looks about right. Happy days. Right, back to the galley window now. This Oggi, I only bought one length of it, and annoyingly it's like 5 centimeters too short to do all 4 sides. So I think what I'm going to do is do the same as I did in the bathroom. So I'm going to do one side up there, a top, a side down there, and then put a sill in. I've already put that in, but I can just whack the sill on top of it, which means then I can kind of come out a little bit there and come out a bit wider and then tuck it in again there, and it'll cover up those 2 little cornery bits, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that'll be the plan. Okay, so first piece is up. Just waiting for the glue to set, really. I've tacked it in place as well, so I'll put the 2 more uprights in, but before I do that I've got to put in the shelf. This is going to be a sill. It's going to kind of bend around the tap a little bit and then bend round. I think might as well make a feature out of that. I quite like the idea of that. Graham's the guy that sent me all that oak from his old TV cabinet, and he sent me a text recently saying, basically, I hope you're not just going to make a loo roll holder out of what I gave you. So no, you'll be happy to know, mate, I'm going to use some of it for this oak sill here. So I've run out of pine, and this pretty much the colour match is really quite close with that black bison wax on there. So right, let's crack on. Right, that's the shape I'm kind of going for. I'm bound by those holes on that side. So I don't really want any holes on the outside of it, so I just put a ball nose on it. But also I don't want it to come too far out anyway, it's going to impede action in the sink. I'm really annoyed with myself. I spent the last 2 hours sanding that down and getting that all ready. I looked at it and thought, uh-oh, when I put that bit on there, the idea is that bit of shelf is meant to hang over and go up to about there, so that can sit on a butt end against it. So I don't really know what I can do now. Well, I'll have to cut a new piece. So luckily I have a piece of oak which I think is just going to fit in there and protrude enough on both sides. So it's going to stick over there, round the tap and out again. How annoying. Well, you can see where I went wrong. That was the first one I did. That's the new one. And I'm going to go on this with some Danish oil, because then hopefully it will come up with the same kind of colour as the pine with the black bison on it. Let's get that done. I took that lower piece off in the end, so now I can put that bit directly onto there. Yeah, very nice. Got the colour kind of right. That all looks pretty similar. Cool, and then I can put the upright from there and then butt it in against there. Happy days. Right, let's glue that in place. Right, I've just got a couple of clamps holding in those 2 uprights. I think that's going to look really good when it's all finished. So there we go, galley window frame is pretty much finished. Pretty happy with that. Just got to do a bit of a repair job up there. Haven't made up my mind yet about a blind. I probably should put something up. Maybe just a bit of, I don't know, lace or something. I don't know if that's still used these days. This line wall moving up here is pretty good. So I just need to clean it up a little bit, sand it down, and then do some more coats of paint up here. Got to fill in that a bit more. I might put a bit of trim on that, to be honest. That's better. Wow, the difference this has made, having the trim going up to there. The lines with the hatch and the windows just look really nice. It's kind of made it look great. And now you can see a much better kind of definitive difference between the upper wall and the lit lower wall. So yeah, it's working quite nicely. The problem with my lit lower walls is that I trimmed a bit of the wall up in the bedroom earlier with the multi-tool, and I nicked a little bit of the LEDs underneath, and as a result of which in the bedroom I can either have green like that or off. There's nothing else. So I'm probably going to have to redo the whole line, which basically starts in the galley and goes all the way up behind the fireplace. It's going to be a bit of a palaver, but hey ho, such is life. Halloween weekend, I think I'm getting away with most of it now, which is good. The kids have been to some like Halloween-y thing at Tring Natural History Museum where they had the whole thing in pitch black, apart from some of the animals all lit up and stuff, so that should have been fun. But I've got pumpkins on the roof, but I can't imagine I'm going to get any kids trick-or-treating me because, well, I'm in the middle of nowhere, it's dark and dingy, and, you know, it'll be fine, I'll get away with it. But I'm in the spirit of things with the pumpkins. I've got an orange candle burning. So yeah, happy days. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care, until next time, bye-bye.